Warning, the following video contains strong language which may be offensive to some viewers and/or inappropriate for children. The content within this video is intended for mature audiences only. Welcome to Meet the Author, where you can join in on insightful conversations with best-selling and award-winning indie published authors. Your hosts today are Rob and Joan, who themselves are indie published authors, book publicists, and paranormal investigators with Tampa Bay Spirits, based in Tampa Bay, Florida. Thanks for dropping by. And now, on with the show.
Good evening.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the show. I'm Joan.
And I'm Rob.
And we're glad to see you here. I hope you enjoy the show. As the intro said, we're indie published authors. We have 3 books, Bioprints, Flash Zombies, and Clone Drones, the O'Rourke series. And we also have been paranormal investigators for a number of years. We now belong to a team called Tampa Bay Spirits. Tonight we have a really special guest, the writer of The Hollow Man. He is the world's best story contest winner of 2014. His name is Paul Hollis. He's an Amazon #1 bestseller, an Awesome Indies Award winner of excellence. And I think you're really going to enjoy everything he has to say. Before he comes on, let us show you one of the videos of his first book, The Hollow Man. That was great. All right, let's bring Paul on.
Come on in, Paul.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Joan and Rob. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming. We're so glad to see you here. Oh my goodness.
My
We need
pleasure.
to
Always
see
excited. Always excited
We've
to
got
be
a
with you.
bunch of people here to see you. My goodness, we've got Sue Pearson, Barbara Duffy, Hennison, Ted. Hi, Ted. Ted's
Ted.
our boss. Let's be really nice to Ted. Trish Pipkins.
Tricia Santasario.
Oh, Trish Santasario. Yay.
Dom's
Thanks.
mom.
Yeah, Dom's mom. Sorry, Trish. That's your claim to fame. Wayne,
welcome back,
Stinnett,
man.
welcome back. Wayne says, you want to put that comment up?
Maybe.
Cool video, Paul. Can you see the comments, Paul?
I cannot see them on the right here, but I do see the one underneath you guys here.
Oh, okay, we'll throw them up. And I think our niece Jennifer is here because, and Jillian Thrillian is back. Hi, Jillian. Okay, Paul, yeah, all right. I'll stop looking at all of that and I'll pay attention to you. So good to see you again. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. Yeah, always good. Doesn't help to complain anyway.
You want to tell us a little bit about your books?
Yeah. So the Halloween series actually is based on some current events. Let's say some true current events in the early to mid 1970s. And the books actually chronicle some of my lesser known adventures during that era. To make a long story short, I was actually approached by a guy while I was digging ditches for the uh, Peace Corps in Eastern Africa, in a place called Tanzania, during the monsoon seasons. Um, so, yeah, he said, "Look, I think you might be wasting your time here. I've got something better. I've got a better offer for you." So, what that offer was actually to tour Europe on somebody else's money, and just kind of hang around, and then they would ask me from time to time they would hear something and they asked me to find out more information about a guy who knew a guy who knew a guy who knew somebody's cousin who thought they heard something about terrorism, this sort of thing, and they would want me to research the people, the plans, etc. And that was back at a time when there were no cell phones, no computers to say, no personal computers anyway. And so I had to go to a lot of libraries, a lot of churches, but I kind of looked at that thing called microfiche. Some of your older viewers might know what that is, but some of the kids may not. It was just a kind of like a blueprint, kind of a black and white kind of a negative sort of thing that was able to photograph newspapers and periodicals and books and whatever else was on there. That was our internet of the 1970s. So that was what it was supposed to happen. I was supposed to get this information and then turn it over to the professionals who would resolve the situation, let's say, and try to prevent any of this terrorism from coming to our shores here in the United States. But that's what was supposed to happen. But being young and impulsive and stupid and arrogant and frivolous at the same time, it didn't quite work out that way. So I got into lots of trouble here. Let me tell you a little bit about what was going on at the time. The terrorism was just starting to come back in full force after years of kind of being all about to sort of well, let me set the stage for you. In the old days, let's call it the old days of the 60s and before, when terrorism came about, it was about one person, one idea, one thing that and what they would do is they would shoot or kill or somehow blow up. As it turns out, that got much more popular than shooting people at the time. They would blow up at one particular politician, let's say, but they quickly learned that politicians were kind of a dime a dozen, and it's like you kill one and they're going to replace them with two more. They're just as idiotic. So what they fell back upon was something that really hit the hearts and souls and minds of normal people, and that was uncontrolled explosions, let's say, and it went after our children, basically the innocent people, women, and children, and men who had no idea about politics or ideology or anything like that. But that got our attention really quick, and especially in the surveillance areas in U.S. foreign services. It got their attention real fast, and they wanted to know more about it so that they could stop it from coming here, basically. So I was kind of like the guy in a red shirt. If you're a Star Trek fan, I was.
You aren't anymore, are you?
But they didn't tell me that script. It wasn't written into my script at all. But that was basically what I was. It's like, if I got caught, captured, killed, all deniable, etc. But the upside was I could go to any American Express office in Europe and give them a special number, and they would give me money. and I could see Europe and do anything I wanted to. Now, folks, don't try that nowadays because you won't be able to. American Express will look at you like you're crazy if you give them a number. So that only worked for that particular time, and as far as I know, maybe it was only for me. I have no idea, but I was able to travel around, and occasionally they would call on me and say, we need more information about this and this and this situation. So that was kind of the how that kind of was working in that way. And that's what the books are about. The first one is about a terrorist who was plotting, really was trying to figure out ways to let's say destroy 8 aircraft at one time, 10 aircraft if he could, from exploding really at one time. So instead of just taking down one planet in this time, he wanted to take down 8 or 10 of them, kind of things. So that was what I was kind of after. I didn't really actually know that, and no one knew that at that time. But I was kind of trying to follow him through Europe, and I went all through Spain. I first encountered him actually in Paris, and followed him to Spain and to Madrid, and then that's where you see that explosion in the video there, and so that started really a chase across Europe, back across Spain, and into France, and eventually up to Paris to at the end of the story. But
did you have anyone with you at that time?
I did not until probably 2 months into the book. I actually had met and worked with a lady, MI6 agent, who was that's English British Foreign Service, if you don't know. And she was actually a bit younger than me, but much more mature and level-headed. So in the end, she literally saved my life probably 10 or 12 times, and there's one sequence in the book you'll get to where I am in a knife fight, and I actually got my hand really badly cut, and I don't know if you can see that scar there, but there's a scar right here that's from a knife fight that was in the middle of the book somewhere in there, and Zita, the female lead in the book, is saves my life eventually there as well. But yeah, she was with me then ever after that sequence there. So about a quarter into the book, she shows up and starts saving my life and that sort of thing. So, but yeah, so got that. So let's see. So you might want to figure out how I got to Tanzania in East Africa when I was in my early 20s. Let me go back to when I started college. I actually started college in 1967, the end of 67.
I think they might like to hear what you did when you were 5 years old with your dad.
Yeah, do a little bit on that.
Okay. Well, yeah, I had some very good teachers in my life. Some of it stuck, not all of it stuck. But my father was an entrepreneur, let's say, in Alabama in the 50s, let's say in the 50s, and he sort of made this liquid that was it looked like water, but burned a little bit as you were drinking it. He cooked up moonshine, a lot of corn and potato mash and that sort of thing. But
some of the people that are listening right now are very excited about this part.
Okay, so
maybe you could send them the recipe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I was about. I actually probably still remember how to do that. But anyways, I came in because I was so small at 5 years old that I could get underneath a car. So what my dad concocted was he filled the gas tank with the moonshine, White Lightning stuff, and we would drive the car, so there was nothing in the car when he was going out selling it, and so what I had to do is get underneath the car and under the gas tank actually, and turn this little. They had like a little twisty thing there, and it would fill up the mason jar quartz. We had a whole trunk full of those things, and fill up the mason jar, and I turn it off, and I'd hold it out for him, and he'd put the cap on it and sell it for $10, $5, $10, whatever it was at the time. And so yeah, it was quite an interesting time. Whenever we were stopped by the revenuers and those kind of guys, they actually never found anything. But what it did was actually that since we were burning it in the car, it was like 110 octane fuel, and so it destroyed the engine about every 3 weeks. We had to pull the head off and reseat the valves. So I got pretty good at some mechanics is mechanical things with cars as well at that time, and which helped me later, by the way, to steal a few cars in Europe. So that was another interesting.
Yeah.
For that.
Yeah. So I learned from all kinds of teachers. So.
That's what I'm saying. And also, don't you like to say that 80% of these books are 90% true?
Yeah, that's my favorite saying. There are a couple of scenes where I sort of made up because I'm not in those scenes. But I should say the main character's not in the scenes. So yeah, I mean there are a couple of scenes, especially with the bad guy. I had to make up some of his stuff there, but most of the rest of it is as true as I could remember it. As far as conversations went and locations and what was going on with cultures and classics and everything that was going on around me at the time. Yeah, so they're pretty well true. And yeah, I mean I've just had one lucky life, So
Yeah.
and that was the first of many. So I'm up to like 6 as a cat goes, but I figure I've got a couple more lives to go. But back then, so back to college then.
Yes.
So I get into college, and instantly I fell into this subculture that basically really reshaped my reality. Probably literally a little bit more than I wanted, but certainly figuratively. It was the next summer I actually participated in the 1968 Democratic Convention riots in Chicago.
You didn't start them, did you?
One of my claims to fame.
You didn't start them, right?
Pardon me?
You didn't start them, did you?
No comment there. I may have been with some of the people who did start it though.
Okay.
Rennie Davis and Hoffman and Rubin, and they were my buds. Yeah,
oh my God!
My buds, yeah. So, but anyway, we went through that, and I
know what we're talking about, but geez.
Yeah, so anyways, I see someone asking a question of have I heard of the song Hollow Man?
Right.
I actually a group in England actually wrote that for me specifically. So it's in another one of my videos. Y'all should really hear that. It's much better than anything I could ever imagine. It actually is called The Hollow Man, and it fits perfectly with the book. So there's another video. It's a 6-minute video that covers that that thing there. So in 1968, during the summer, after the convention was over, I went to California for a couple months and hung out in the Haight with Haight Ashbury. If you're any hippies out there, I hung out with people like Santana and Garcia and Grace Slick and people like that. They were just normal kids, like living in cockroaches, places, cockroaches as big as your hand, sort of thing. But anyways, that was there. Then of course, in the fall and winter of there, it was the Chicago 7 trial, which where Rennie Davis and Hoffman, Abby and Jerry were put on trial, etc. And then Woodstock came along, and so of course I had to go, and there's I had to, yeah. I mean, it was my calling, right? So I can tell you that there's no saying that goes like, if you remember the 60s, you weren't there, and Yeah, and I can tell you that I don't remember a lot, but what I do remember is I remember what 19 years old was like. I remember being hungry and buzzed and pumped on adrenaline all at the same time, dancing to the nonstop music, etc. What I don't remember is another time like that. That was like seeing Mickey Mantle hit a home run, sort of thing. That was the best time that kids could ever have that you could imagine. And peaceful. I mean, I there was a couple of fist fights I saw, but not really anything. A couple of drug overdoses. Yeah, oh yeah, yeah. Um, but it was a fun time. I mean, it was a so many things to remember there. So having gone to school to my major was stay out of Vietnam, by the way. After
Everyone
after
majored in that at that time.
so after that, I graduate, and my dad he says, "Hey, nice job. You want to join the FBI?" Right? I mean, and I said, mm, it sounded good, but I was like, okay, I would have been a hypocrite by trying to stay away from holding a gun for 4 years in college, and now all of a sudden he sends me over to Quantico, right? So I said, no, okay, I'm not going to do that right now, and so I joined the Peace Corps, and they sent me down to this place, Paintsville, Kentucky, somewhere down there, for training. And it's just off the Cumberland Plateau, if you're familiar with the area, and just in a stone's throw, probably from West Virginia, in the lost world of West Virginia. And so about a week into that training, I figured out, man, these guys aren't kidding. So along came this opportunity to go to Africa and help out there right away. And I thought, well, lions and tigers might be a little more preferable um, to the dinosaurs in West Virginia, sort of thing. So because I had never been to West Virginia at the time, so I didn't know what it was like. I thought they still had dinosaurs. So I get there, and it's monsoon season. They give me this flat nosed shovel and said, "Start digging here." And within 2 days, I was up to my knees in mud and some kind of animal excrement, and and I didn't know if it was raining hard or if I was just crying. So and a couple weeks later, this guy showed up, and he says, "Hey, I got something better for you. You want to do that?" And I thought, "Hell yes, I do." Is it dry? Is it dry? And is it and something there? And he's always said, "Oh yeah, it's way better. Think about this." And so they gave me about a month's training with because they were in a hurry. They gave me about a month's training with a Marine Corps. Actually, the guy taught the early SEALs. They were known as UDT at the time, I think, way back then. But the Marine Corps actually taught the Navy how to be SEALs, basically. So anyway, they gave me one of those guys, and oh, I was wishing I was back digging ditches a lot quicker than you could imagine. But because he was relentless, but he taught me some things to save my life a few times, and then they sent me to live with an Italian survival team from their special forces in Italy in the mountains of Italy to do survival training. Not sure how they thought that was going to help me in Europe because I had a whole different plan for Europe, but yeah, I learned how to eat grasshoppers and learned how to strip bark off of certain trees and eat that, and also tarantulas. They by the way, they do taste like hairy chicken. So if anybody's interested in that, but catching them and killing them was not my favorite bit of advice to anybody there. So because they can jump 15 feet, by the way, if you're afraid of spiders, do not go around them. So anyways, then I got to Europe, and there was the story of the Hollow Man, and the second book is called London Bridge is Falling Down, and that happens, of course, in the UK and Ireland. The whole thing about it there, and that was all about the bombings the IRA and the premises there. You know, they had the NSA had heard some stories about there being a hit list basically of people, places, things that the IRA and other folks were going after. And so my job there was to really find out if that list was real and if it wasn't, et cetera, you know, sort of thing. And it actually turned into something way bigger than that. And so that's what that story's about. And the third one, which is coming out hopefully in early spring, is going to be called Surviving Prague. And knowing me, you'll appreciate that title. I was trying my best to survive all of this stuff, but that one has me. Actually, at the beginning, at the real beginning, Zita, the MI6 agent, she's actually accused of murder behind the Iron Curtain in Czechoslovakia, Prague, in the early 70s, and so I broke into the country. Most people want to break out of the Iron Curtain countries, but here I am. I'm breaking into the Iron Curtain country to save her. But it turned out she neither wanted nor needed my help. And but that's what that book is all about, and actually stopping a major plot there as well. So there you go for the unsung hero for all of that. So.
Okay, well, we're going to need to take a break here for a minute.
Commercial break,
a word from our sponsors or whatever. And when we come back, we're going to give away some books, right, Paul?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, either one that you'd like.
And you're going to put your signature in them, probably.
I will, yeah.
Okay, your real signature or your agent signature, or?
Well, I got to tell you, I've had like 4 or 5 passports. I mostly used the West German passport in Europe, but I did have a Spanish one for a while and a UK as well, and the American one. But I didn't use the American one too well because it just never fit right into the place, you know, kind of stuff. Being Americans, being ugly Americans, etc. At the time over there, and you know us, we're cocky, arrogant guys anyway.
No.
So.
Okay, well, hold that thought, and we'll get right back with you. Sit back for a minute, and but don't go away, Paul.
Okay. This is fascinating. Everybody hold on to your seats.
Paratalk Radio is a member of radio.com. Download the app, search Paratalk Radio. One word. That's it. Pretty easy peasy. Radio.com.
WLFE DB Radio is on Spotify with all its great shows like Across the Pond, Inside the Drag Closet, Step into the Paranormal, Just Cindy, Where's My Sage, Unfiltered Talks with Bryce, Metal Mayhem ROC, Paratalk Radio, Real Talk with Dom, and more. So download the Spotify app today to stay connected to all your WLFE DB Radio shows.
You've been listening to WLFE-DB.com, where our shows are your shows.
Hey guys and dolls, this is Casey DeVille, the better half of DeVille Inc., Baltimore, Maryland. If you're ever in Baltimore, stop in and see me and Tony. Invisible Bree, 5920 Eastern Avenue, Baltimore, Maryland, 21224. Give us a call if you're in the area, 410-400-9641. Or look us up on the web at DeVilleInc.com. DeVille Inc., where we specialize in you.
You're listening to WLFE DB Radio. Now, back to our program.
All right.
Hello, we're back.
Well, as promised, here we go. The first 5 people that email Paul at thehollowmanseries.com and tell him which book you want and what country you're in will win a signed copy of that book.
Yay!
So
I think that'll be fun.
jump on in there, and
Yeah, good.
if we don't have a winner by the end, Paul will be back in touch with you. So
Okay, yep, absolutely.
So I know that you've lived in a lot of countries, and didn't you say you've been like in 50 different countries?
Yeah, a little bit north of 50, but yeah, right around there. I've lived overseas a total probably of 11, maybe 12 years. And I've been in lived in London and Paris and Brussels. Outside of Brussels, actually, it was in a place called Waterloo, which if you're a Napoleon fan, you might know where that is. Sao Paulo, Brazil, Rome, Madrid, Tokyo, Anchorage, Alaska. I mean, if you're thinking of of your favorite vacation, the best place you could ever be, I've probably been there.
Okay,
Southern France.
I know that's what you always say, so I'm gonna quiz you because I have 4 places I'd really like to go. Let's see if you've been there. Number 1 spot, Machu Picchu.
I have not been there, but I've been to Peru, and I've been to Ecuador and Chile, and of course Brazil, etc. Yeah, I was instructed to stay away from Colombia, by the way. So
Yeah,
I was persona non gratis there. Yeah, Belize I've been to. Yeah, I saw that one. Yeah, been there.
So my next one is Israel.
I have only passed through the airport there, so I don't count that as a country for me. So, but
well, you should. You were there.
well, I didn't. I actually my feet
Through
didn't.
the airport.
Yeah,
Wait,
airport's not. That's like the movie is like, wait, where we're going back to the airport? I've been there. I want to see the city, right? So yeah,
Right.
I didn't see much of it there. So. Egypt, absolutely, yeah. Been to Cairo, of course, Alexandria. Yeah, that one didn't make it into the books, yeah, but I've been there. Been to New Zealand, yeah, absolutely.
Beautiful, right?
Oh my gosh, yeah, breathtaking. That's one of my favorite places on earth, yeah.
Yeah, we wanted to immigrate there, but we didn't. We stayed here, decided to be Americans.
So I'm on a losing streak though. So what's your next one?
I only had one more. Yeah. Well,
no,
Peru.
no to Antarctica. Too cold. I'm a warm-blooded guy.
Those, actually, those were my top 3, and then there was just one more, and just you'll know why when I say it, Bali.
Yeah, I actually passed through Bali as well, but I don't count that as
just the airport.
It was a couple of weeks on R&R, but it was not really.
Oh, that still counts.
That still counts? Okay.
Are you kidding? That really counts.
The Maldives, I've not been there either. Yeah. So you're picking all the places. I thought you'd pick out southern France or or Rio or someplace like that.
Well, the thing is that I bet you have been to Lithuania.
I have been through Lithuania, but it was in the Cold War days, so it wasn't really much of a tourist destination, as we say. So
right. Oh
Australia,
my goodness.
yeah, Australia.
How do you like it there?
I liked Australia, not as much as New Zealand, but
right.
The people are always friendly. I mean, everywhere I go, people are friendly to me because I just start talking and they either run or they stand and listen. That's just me. But all the people there were nice, and I always go back on my history kind of thing and thinking that everyone who lives in Australia must be descendant from a criminal because that's where the English sent all their criminals, right? So, but not true, or maybe maybe it is, and they just didn't tell me about that. So, but yeah, I've been through the Amazon actually as well. I've lived in Sao Paulo and Rio, and went to Brasilia a few times, the capital city there. So
Yeah.
yeah, and been actually on a little boat in the Amazon. But as soon as they said piranha, I said that's it. Boat tour, boat tour ended. Done.
That wasn't a code word. That was a
Yeah,
real
that
thing.
was
Okay.
that was not a that was a. See, there are some things that a scared little kid will be afraid of and admit it. So
Yeah, I don't ever want to go swimming with piranhas. Thank you very much. It's bad enough living in Florida.
Boy, that's for sure.
well,
So,
you
Paul,
got some.
when
Go ahead.
does your new book come out?
The original Hollow Man.
No, when does your new one?
I've got it scheduled for early summer if I can get
Early
it
summer?
finished. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, we're looking forward to that.
Good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is what Nancy has to say.
Oh, thank you, Nancy. I have always tried to go new places, and be places where you wouldn't actually know, because I actually um, thrive on understanding people and their cultures and their political views and all of those kinds of things that make them tick. And it turns out that they're really not all that much different than anybody, really. I mean, they I mean, everybody has got that, but actually, getting back into the books though, um, the locations that have that are settings within your book are, to me, are one of the two most important things to think about, because every character then within your book is then bound by location, the setting, the people around them, the streets, the street signs, whether it's a language you can speak, whether you can't speak it, a conversation between two guys in, let's say, an Italian restaurant in Jersey would be much different than two guys talking in an alley and behind the Iron Curtain in the 1960s and 70s, right? So location is really important to have. It's one of the two things. The other one is characters, of course, but because you can, because to me, you could a story doesn't carry a book, but good characters will, to me, sort of thing. So, um, and that's another thing. And real characters are what I really thrive on. I try to get the characters to come off the page and be with the reader. And one way I do that is with I include. It's not all my conversations are not grammatically correct. They are certain. Some of it's in other languages that I try to explain as we go. Some of it is I use slang. I use characterizations. I use um, uh, uh, the voices like that the person would actually be using in Spain, or so it includes the accents, it includes contractions or not contractions, and so it turns out that every character then becomes a real person then, if you can do that kind of thing. So anyways, I sorry to get off on a tangent there.
No, but that's true.
Yeah,
you write so that the person speaking talks like people talk, which we don't all speak grammatically correct, for darn sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Not even, yeah, and I'm the most prolific at that one.
Yeah, it's really important. And like I said about Cindy last week, you write the same way. When you read Paul's books, you're there with the character, experiencing what the character is experiencing, seeing it, smelling it, tasting the food. That's
right.
That's the great part about it. Plus, it takes you away, doesn't it? When you write about all the places that you've been to, it takes the reader away to those places.
It does. I mean, unless you were like born in Madrid or something like that, you might see the books a bit different. I don't know, but I see them as I saw them as a young impressionable kid who was, trying to sightsee while they're trying to make me follow terrorists, sort of thing. So, so two different agendas there, man. Um, so yeah, but anyways, yeah, the characters, I really listen to people a lot. I listen, I watch how if they speak using their hands and or any kind of way like that, and the actual words that they use sometimes are key to understanding their personalities and stuff like that. So
Well, speaking of people and listening to people, we got about 20 minutes left or so, 15, 20 minutes. And anybody have any questions out there that they want to direct, we'll take the time to answer them as many as we can. And so go ahead and finish your thought there, Paul.
that was it. That was it.
All right.
So you see what Nancy Lee has to say. I love hearing about locations. Absolutely. It's the base. Traditions and cultures come from that. It's a different world for some people. I can't wait to read some of your books.
Well, thank you. Yeah, that to me is what I try to do for my books is write a movie, but in prose, in just in a novel kind of a form. And so I want you to actually see, as a reader, see and feel and touch, and as you said, Joan, be there with that, holding hands or experiencing when I was talking to dead people, for example. I won't give too much away there, but in the first book, there is I'm pretty well convinced right now they were dreams, but at the time it was certainly a real little girl. So I mean, you just have to go with people, and people will drive your story. They change your story, actually. So.
Well, people that know me will tell you I talk to dead people.
That's true.
Well, there you go. See,
so you may have been. Trish Pipkins has a question. What place in the world do you think is the most dangerous right now? That's a good question.
Yeah, I thanks to a few of our predecessors, I think probably, to me, North Korea is probably not the most fearful right now, but they're learning, and they're learning fast. I would say that the Middle East, because we keep poking it, and we don't really know enough to leave it alone, because we're trying to change 5,000 years of history into our own ways, kind of stuff, and really the reason that we fight any war is for resources. Basically, you can go all the way back to our American Revolution, and every one of them has been on resources. From this is our land now, right? Is in the Revolutionary War, all the way up to, well, there's probably some oil in South Vietnam. The definitely oil and other and lots of poppies, in Afghanistan, so to protect, and all those things that really kind of make this a scary world kind of thing. China is well, let me back up a second. My feeling is that World War IV will be fought over technology, right? And it's all about how tenuous, all these hacks and stuff you're seeing about now in the banks and all that sort of thing. Well, just wait till they sort of move to the electrical grid and start taking that down, right? And taking down all the power structures by hacking it, right? So all these guys are learning out there. They're learning how to do this, and so that really is probably my biggest concern, is really over the technology and the lack of security recognition, that security is really needed for those kinds of things. But as far as a country goes, I'm not really sure that Iran is a real threat, because most of the rest of the world is against them, and China is going to be certainly is coming up to be an economic adversary of ours, just like the Japanese did in the 60s. Yeah, well, I would skip over 3. I meant 3, but whatever. So, 3, 4, they're all wars to me, but
There you go.
yeah.
Well,
Yeah, sorry about that, guys.
That technology thing that you mentioned, that actually just happened here in Florida. One of our city's water supply was hacked, and they were able to release too much of a certain chemical that would have made the water poison. And but the sensors caught it. It was stopped by redundancy in the program, but that's a very real thing. Yeah.
And that's really what I mean. If you can kill a whole city, for example, without firing a shot, why not? I mean, that's gonna be the way to do it in the future. Is to use the technology, not robots and stuff like that, but really the technology that we've already built around and not updated since the 60s. I mean, since it was all created, sort of thing. So yeah, I mean that's going to be the bigger concern for me. I mean, not that I know a lot, but it's just my opinion. So.
Well, I think you've been out in the field more than any of the rest of us. As far as I know, some of you might be secret agents out there, and I'm not. Never have been. So, you had boots on the ground, as they say.
Yeah. I wore out a few of those.
For sure.
Did a lot of walking in those days, So
yeah,
that was before Uber.
It was before a lot of stuff. I mean, you're talking way back when I was young, even.
Yeah.
Well, good to know, Trish.
Thanks, Trish.
Glad you're not a secret agent or a cat.
Right. Any more questions out there?
I think Ted has an observation. There you go. Live off the grid.
Yeah, which is interesting. I actually have helped a very dear friend of mine, partner in to create a book called the Endangered Earthlings Handbook, which is all about living off the grid and what's happening with the world and climate change, etc., and where we've come from millions of years ago, right on up to the current, and how to live off the grid and minimally, basically, right? So, yeah. So if you're interested in a good book, pick that one up. It's by an author whose name is Pamela Erickson, and you can find that on Amazon as well.
And also Indie Book Source.
Yep.
She's on Indie Book Source.
And so is Paul. So
Paul is also.
Paul is one of the founding members, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, really?
Think you were.
I think you were with us before we were even Indie Book Source, when we were just, promoting everyone for free.
Oh, I didn't remember that. So that's pretty cool.
Now we charge.
And rightfully so. You do a great job. Absolutely great.
Thank you. It's our pleasure. We enjoy it. We enjoy all of our authors, actually.
Yeah. So have you, do we have any winners yet of books? So can you
let me just get over there real quick and see.
Disappearing. Don't disappear.
Am I disappearing?
No, don't disappear yet.
Let's see. Do I have? Yeah, I think I have a couple here. Yeah, couple. Well, where am I at? Here, right, I'm back. Okay. Yep, I think I have a couple. So that's good.
Great. That's great.
Let's see.
So here, let's see. There's a question here.
Wait, it depends on how survivally you want to get. I think as far as being prepared, what you want to do is, I mean, not go berserk about anything. I mean, this thing about the toilet paper that everybody had to have 25 packs of it when the COVID started and all that. that's not necessary actually. Um, to be a survivalist. What you want to do is you want to be able to understand how to fix things, simple things. How you want to be able to understand how to generate your own electricity using solar or wind, which is quite doable today and quite inexpensive. Um, those are the kinds of things that you want to do. You can always figure out, um, uh, I mean, if you really want to go for it, you can go really off grid and build your own house or canopy or however you want to do that. But it just depends on your level of where you want to be in the world and 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 how you can really, I guess, maybe structure all that around your family and commitments and things like that. Because some people would rather have a big house and lots of kids around them and sort of thing. You just figure out what you want to do, at what level you want to do. You might want to just say, okay, I'm recycling and that's what I want to do, and that's my contribution to the earth, which is a good thing. You don't have to really be a survivalist in that way, but survivalist, I mean, is a whole other level of functioning and probably something that we couldn't really solve in 5 minutes here or so. But anyway, yeah, grow your own food. Excellent. Yeah, and Pamela Erickson does grow her own herbs and some of her own food and that sort of thing. So and learn to hunt. Yeah, yeah, I wouldn't mess with that lady either. So on the hunting level, so I was never able to really shoot a gun really well. In fact, I almost shot Zita, my partner, a couple of times. So she would never knowingly let me have a gun after she figured that out. So you see me have very few guns in Europe. I do have some, but I mean I do use some, but yeah. So that, but that's another story there. So.
So Pamela was just in Death Valley.
Yes, she was. Yeah, she for a 3 week. She was there for a 3 week trial and like a proof of concept kind of thing to see how to generate electricity off grid and water usage and the whole 9 yards. Making your own food out of dried chickpeas and things like that. So it was a really interesting and she learned a lot. And being a smart lady, she will put it all to use as well. So.
And she'll put it in her book.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
We can buy her book and learn how to do all this stuff.
Yeah.
I think Ted already knows how to grow his own food and herbs and stuff, and he's started already, sort of, haven't you, Ted?
Probably. I don't think he can talk.
He can type.
Oh yeah, he can type. Sort of.
Like I said, that's our boss. Don't piss off the boss.
So, any parting advice there, Paul?
Yeah, I would tell people to get out and see the world. I lived in St. Louis of all places for a number of years, and I know many people who haven't taken the 10 minutes to drive across the river, the Mississippi River, to be in Illinois, to be in just another state, for Pete's sake. I mean, the part of the reason why most of us don't like each other now is because we don't know each other. Get out there and experience the world as far as you can. Don't have to go to 50 countries. You just go around the United States if that's all you want or like to do. But get out there and understand people and talk to them about their religions and learn to listen more than talk and more than judge. Try not to judge. I mean, who's going to be perfect in this world anymore? So just learn, understand people, and I guarantee you'll be making a lot more friends and you'll be a lot more open-minded about different things that come along. So I would just say get out there and quote unquote see the world and see what you can do. And when you're there, just don't be taking snapshots and they're good for memories, but snapshots don't get you interactions with people. It doesn't get you to sample the food. It doesn't get you to understand, why this restaurant has 7 generations of people handing down to it, kind of stuff. And I mean, there's all kinds of things to learn and that. So I get out there, and Ireland is a wonderful place to go. I spent many years and many in many disguises as well. I had in those days. So.
Well, I just have to say I agree with you 100%. I lived out of the country for 3 years, and it taught me a lot. And I really believe we need to respect what everybody else believes, because there are many different cultures, very many different belief systems, and we don't have to agree with each other. We just have to respect what each other thinks, because it's valid. It's your belief system. You can believe whatever you want. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. Agreeing with people is never a good thing to go on. Never based on anything, because you're always going to be, everybody's individual and everybody is got their own thing. But if you just stop talking and then start listening more to people, I mean, that's what you have to do on social media anyway. So you're already trained to do that. It's like you have well, there are 2 types of people on social media, right? Let me just go off on this tangent here. There's one that has the 5 million followers, and they follow 3 people, right? So that tells you right away that look at me, it's all about me, right?
Right.
I don't care about you. And then you see the people that have well, like me, I have 80-some thousand followers on Twitter, but I also follow 75,000. So yeah. It's all about interactions and understanding and learning, and everybody's, if you stop learning, you're starting to die, kind of thing. You have to just keep learning and learning and learning, and because you're going to find something interesting. If you pay attention, you'll find something interesting to you. And that's what you need to do as far as is out in the world and kind of thing. So I just thought someone said, "Did I win on the thing?" I don't want to go away from. I got lost, I guess, before when I switched my screen over. So
this guy right here is the one that
I will let you know as soon as I can do that, and I'll just say if you sent me an email, I'll get you a book.
Well, thank you. There you go, Dom.
That's
You're a winner.
So you can relax, Dom. We got you covered. Paul, thank you very much for joining us. This has been awesome.
It has.
It's great getting to talk with you and hearing all your experiences and everything.
You haven't heard most of them. So.
Well, maybe you can
have me back sometime. Have me back sometime, and I'll tell you about Indonesia and Kuala Lumpur.
Okay. Sounds great.
Okay. So, we have Dominic says, yes, have you back.
You want to join us next Wednesday, everybody, March 3rd. We're going to have a double feature, mystery authors. Our guests are going to be Gerald Darnell. He's the author of the Carson Reno series. And Michael Stephen Daigle of the Frank Nagler series.
Do you know them, Paul?
Series.
And, I do not. Only through Twitter and Facebook.
Yeah.
You can find their books on Indie Bookstores. They're also authors there. And then we also want to encourage everybody, if you enjoyed this show, that you'll probably like a lot of the shows that are on WLFE DB Radio, DB Radio. Monday night, we've got Paratalk Radio with Ted, who we've been talking with here, and Cindy. That's at 8 o'clock Monday. And Real Talk with Dom, which is Dominic, that we've been talking with a lot. He's on at 10 o'clock. And then on Tuesday, we've got the Creepy Parlor with Genevieve, who is on here too. That's at 7 o'clock. And after that, that's followed by Where's My Sage with Mike and Christy at 8 o'clock. So got a lot of things to, a lot of good shows to see, a lot of nice people to meet. And I think if that's it.
We've just gone over time.
We've gone over time. And
Well,
thank you, Paul, again. Thank you, everybody, for watching.
Thank you all for bearing with me. Thank you all for bearing with me, and thank you to Joan and Rob for doing this. It's great.
You're welcome.
On to the next.
Just wait for us backstage.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you for joining us here on Meet the Author. Make sure you stay up to date with our show by clicking like, follow, and share. And you can find us on Spotify, iTunes, and more. See you next time on WLFE-DB.com.
You've been listening to WLFE-DB.com, where our shows are your shows.